Hello and good day. I hope that you are doing awesome on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. It's your boy Zack Miller, episode 27 of Zack Miller Live. I'm excited today because if you're watching, you're probably like, whoa. What in the world is this guy doing? You remember yesterday I had this big, nice beard. Everyone was talking about it, how it was glorious. And now today, well, as you can see, I've done some work at the butcher shop. And I got these things. Now look, I'm not going to keep it for a long time. Probably just tonight. Maybe 24 full hours. But the point I want to make is this. What's the worst that could happen? We all look a little weird. We all are a little weird. I mean, Roy, look at this. I didn't want it to all go yet, so I didn't let it go. I had to get a haircut because my hair was not on point. And so I shaved my beard and left, I don't even know how to describe this, some sideburns that triangularly, if that's a word, they angle into my weak mustache. And then I got this soul patch thing. I look like a British villain. That's exactly what I was going for. I'm going to be trying out for the next X-Men or whatever. But look, what's the worst thing that happens? Am I a little embarrassed? Not really. I mean, I do think it looks ridiculous. But I do ridiculous things all the time. You guys should expect nothing less from me. And you know, when I go over to look at comments, you get better views of this. It's so beautiful. But seriously, we worry. My best British. I don't even know where to start with that. But we focus so much on status quo. Like status quo says you can't look like an idiot. Well, clearly I look obscene. I look obnoxious. But literally, what's the worst thing that can happen? And as we talk about being the anomaly, good day, everybody. Is that a British voice? Let me know. Megan counts a long time. But seriously, what's the worst thing that could happen? I don't know, a couple million people tune in? Or no one tunes in? That status isn't quo. I don't know how to do a British voice. But my point is this. I think that's my new line. My point is this. Is we are all a little weird. Why should we be trying to fit in instead of trying to be who we actually are? Now, I probably could rock these. I mean, I have a feeling that if people wanted me to rock this style, I probably could. And maybe I should. Maybe I should keep this. Maybe this should be my new thing. Maybe instead of the black shirt, jeans, it should be, I'm going to start rocking these. What would you even call this? Like the connector, the stash connector. Coming to you live on Zack Miller Live, episode 27, the status quo edition. Where I am not. You know what I should have done? I should have done a helmet. So I could have done the here. And I could connect it. And I could have done line there. That would have been amazing. But what? Who cares? Who cares what people think about the way that you look? Is it really that big of a deal? Erica, hope you're doing well. What do you think about the look? Is it that ridiculous? I mean, would you not take me seriously? Now that could be a reason, right? If I'm trying to sell you something at some point and I'm looking like this, is this something that could hinder that opportunity? That could take away the opportunity? But then I might say, you know what? At least I'm being me. I also learned that my beard is just not that thick right here, and that is disappointing. Also, not very thick right here. Also disappointing. I would like to thank my parents for that. Thank you for allowing me not to have a thick beard. Appreciate it. I remember growing up, when I was in like 6th or 7th grade, I would start shaving. And then I would shave everything except for my mustache because I didn't want a mustache. And now here I am with a mustache. Drew Skinner, Love, Erica, Megan, Dave, Roy, what's up? How ridiculous does this look? I mean, I think this is something that Drew Skinner would do himself. I remember him from high school. I believe that he would. Look, we all are a little weird. We all want something. Trendsetter. Hey, if you guys want to keep doing this, look, it's fine. Do it. But I think, and I was talking to my buddy Alan Branch about this the other day, and what's interesting is that, we worry about appeasing someone or making someone, fitting in. Like, that's like the worst thing that we could be doing as a society. Like, the last thing you want to do is not be you. We are all born with this beautiful thing. I mean, look at that. Look at those. But, like, why can't you be you? If you want to, like, why are people, like, obnoxiously like, oh, what is this jackass doing? Like, he looks ridiculous. Yes, I understand that I look ridiculous. And for those of you that are just listening, like, literally I just have, like, these triangle sideburns that connect to a mustache. But my point is this, right? Like, stop, like, trying to be like everyone else. Be yourself. Like, if I did this, and I'm going to go to the gym at some point today, I guarantee you I'm going to get a lot of looks. Now, should that be happening? Should that be the norm, that people just are kind of bullies to people? Saying that, oh, you need to look this way because that's the way I think you should? Like, is that appropriate for society? And also, why is it that whenever you get a haircut, you always have your best hair day on that day? Like, I will never be able to gel my hair better than it is right now. I also would not have been able to do this better either. But my point, there I said it again. Like, who cares that I look a little different? What should matter is that I could help you, that, we have a good relationship together or something like that. Lavinia says, ha, 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 ha. Thank you. Drew says he has a better mustache. I bet you do. My mustache is terrible. It's ridiculous. It's kind of embarrassing. What I would like to do is, I'd like to do like the little whoop-de-doops. That would be amazing. When we're thinking and talking about being an anomaly or being seen, like, you have to do things that get people to stop. And clearly, this is one of those things to get people to stop and look. But also, I want to make the point that, does it really matter the way that you look? Does it really matter that you follow some rules, status quo? I don't think it does. And I never really have. Now, my good friend Eric Olson, I remember him telling me this once, where he, a few years ago, had a mustache. I wish I had a picture of this. But he said and he's got a thick beard. So it wouldn't be like this, like, this is like a 7th grade mustache right here. It's terrible. But he would tell me he had a mustache once. He had a beard and then he just kept a mustache for one day. And he told me it was the most embarrassing day of his life. It's going to be great. Like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to walk through. People are going to be like, who is this clown? And I think it's wonderful. But again, is that like, should we be laughing at people? I'm not bombarding you with her. I'm not trying to get mad at you, love, because I know you're not mad at me. And I know you're not like, oh my God, it's ridiculous. But think about it. Like, these status quos are what we need to change. Like, what can you be doing to individualize yourself, to be recognized for who you are? And I think that's important. So many people are trying to follow someone instead of trying to be the best that they can. Instead, they follow the leader, or they follow someone that they think is going to help them, and it actually makes them worse. And yes, I'm going left to right to left to look at this because it looks amazing. Heather Myers, she's my barber. She just did that. Kelly, hello. But also, I said that when I got a haircut and I would do this, I would go live. So I have to do it. And look, what, like, in a year am I going to... Well, in a year when I get this on the... on this day on Facebook Live, I'm going to be like, nice. Looks great. But we're all too often trying to impress. And I think in a lot of cases, deep down, it's actually hurting people emotionally. They don't want to. They're like, oh, I have to do this. So I want you guys to realize that you can look like a buffoon if you want. No, I don't think I really look like a buffoon, but definitely looks obnoxious, which I think is hilarious. And so as I have a screen to my right here, and as I look, just looks great. Like I see this like, whoop. But what's the worst thing that could happen if you stood out a little bit? What's the worst that could happen if you looked a little different? What's the worst thing that could happen if you weren't the status quo? My guess is nothing. You get laughed at. Well, those people are bullies and shouldn't be doing it anyway, right? You know, and as we look back and reflect on our lives and say, oh, you know, like I acted like this person so long. Like now I'm like, oh, I like my hair like that. I want to do it. People hate that I wear a black t-shirt and jeans all the time. People are going to hate this too. Oh, it's so unprofessional. No, what's unprofessional is you guys having an opinion like that. Hey, Pam, hope you're doing well. Are you in a different state right now? But what happens if you just stand out a little bit? Now, this is probably an extreme, right? This is probably an extreme. But we play this game of follow the leader or follow this other person when instead what we could be doing is being ourselves and getting that story out. And extreme, yes. Am I being a little extreme right now? Absolutely. Am I being obnoxious? Absolutely. But it's to make a point that we are oftentimes trying to be too much like someone else. You know, we have a hashtag hustle city. You know, a lot of this is follow city, right? Oh, let me just follow this person, you know? And I think you can respect people and follow them and want to be friends with those people. But I don't think we need to follow exactly what they do, right? I don't think we need to follow their personality. You know, we all have a little personality. We all have a lot of personality into it, right? And society has told us, oh, you have to look this certain way to be something. And I want to call the BS meter on that. Like, I think it's ridiculous. Like, I think it's ridiculous that people have to look a certain way to be successful. And I don't think that should be there. I remember when I was first getting into my business career, early in the 2010s, people would be like, well, you know, to be successful in life, you got to dress to impress. I was like, really? That's the golden ticket? So you're telling me that I am going to be successful just because I wear a suit, or I look just like everyone else, or I have the same suit and a power tie? Come on. But that is what people preach. That is literally what this world says. And yes, you can look nice in those type of clothes. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it's not for me. What I'm saying is all too often, people follow others and it doesn't get the results that you want. Why? Because you're not being yourself. People want authenticity. People want to be genuine. I think I'm a pretty damn genuine person. And I don't even think I have to say that. I think other people would agree with that. Maybe it's a little too genuine. That's fine. Roy, perfect. Personally, I think they're great. These are great. I haven't shown my wife yet. She's going to be thrilled. He's going through a little weird hair stage himself. Beginning of dreads. What is that like? Beginning of dreads, and he doesn't care what anyone else thinks. How do dreads work? I've always wondered. Is it true they put like eggs in them or something? Or like beeswax? I can't remember. Pam likes a stash. But look, extreme, sure. A little obnoxious, sure. right? If I was in high school, I'd probably get suspended for this, or at least sent home, right? Which is obnoxious in itself that could happen, right? I know that so many people want to be themselves, but are blocked and are told that they can't, whether it's by their boss, society, or something else. And honestly, I just think that's ridiculous. And I think it needs to change. I think we need to start acting more like ourselves, or expressing who we are, and not initially bombarding people and saying, "Oh my God, that's wrong." Like, why is it so bad to look a little different? I mean, these things are classic. I'm going to be sad to see these go. I remember when I got the TV show, and it was really important for me to stay to who I am. What I meant by that was, at the time, I rocked jeans and a t-shirt. But I knew that the status quo said that I needed to wear a suit. And so you guys might have heard this story before, where I hustled my way into the show. I was trying to sell it. I was trying to sell a business to the TV station. That did not work. And instead, an opportunity came up to host a TV show. And I raised my hand. And then after a while, I finally convinced them. And then guess what happened? I said, yeah, I appreciate that we've, agreed to all this. There's just one more thing. I don't want to look like everyone else. This is how I want to dress. And guess what? It worked. Sometimes you just have to ask for permission. Now, I'm not one to ask for permission. I just do what I freaking want. But the whole status quo thing of the world is getting a little ridiculous. And I think it needs to change. And I guess this isn't necessarily like a super informative edition of Zack Miller Live. It's more of a rant edition, episode 27, Zack Miller Live. But it's more to say, look, be you. Be yourself. I would have gone on a little bit early, but I locked myself out of my house. Ridiculous. But it's fixed. I got in. But seriously, like, what's something that you want to be doing and you've been a little timid or afraid to do it? I hope that me looking like this right now will help you get off the fence and do that thing that you wanted to, right? Like, a lot of times I wear mixed match socks. I really don't care that anyone doesn't like that. I've now learned that is a trend where people are doing that. Like, what are we doing to be ourselves? Are you doing it? Are you acting yourself? Are you following someone else? You can be someone else. It's totally fine. Thanks, Steven. Status quo says, I cannot do this. I'm an outlier. I'm a bad person. I'm emo. I'm a Marilyn Manson fan. Whatever. All those things are fine. All I'm saying is be yourself. Be genuine to yourself, and others will follow as well. And so oftentimes, we're in the final parts of Anomaly. And I'm going through, and a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is like, be genuine to yourself. I love it. I love that line, Steven. Hiring Zack Miller, be more comfortable. Like, you have to do uncomfortable things sometimes to get more uncomfortable. Was I ever nervous doing this? No, because I was freezing cold. Because I've been locked out of my home for the last 30 minutes. But my point is this, is like, what is this literally going to do for me? Well, it's going to get people to comment and say, oh, killer facial hair, man. Appreciate that, love. But it also is to prove a point that, look, you can look like a fool if you're being yourself. Who cares what other people think? Especially when they're not your, targets or friends or prospects or whatever you're trying to do. And I'm not holding this to hide this. It's just, if you watch all my videos, this is what I do. Like, we have to get out of our comfort zones. And I'm not saying, like, if this is actually really interesting. So a lot of people will say, oh, if you want more sales, you have to, make more sales calls. And they literally mean to pick up the phone. Like, hello, it's Bob's whatevers. I want to sell you this thing. I actually think that if you're super uncomfortable on a specific medium, like cold calls, you shouldn't actually cold call. You should find a different vehicle to do it. Because what you are trying to train yourself is to start to feel a little bit more comfortable. And if you put yourself in a scenario that is super, super, super negative, you actually will train yourself to hate it even more. And so what I would want to do is, what I would teach other people, or I would coach someone to do is, hey, find a medium where you feel more comfortable on, and then increase that, and then maybe you get comfortable and can get up to that phone call. But if you hate being on the phone and you definitely don't want to cold call someone, and by the way, I don't necessarily think cold calls work. If you pick up the phone and start calling people and they say to you, you're an idiot, I don't want to talk to you, and make you feel worse, what do you think that's going to do to your psyche? What do you think that's going to do to you emotionally? It's not going to help. Yes, you have to put yourself in a situation where you're introducing yourself to new people, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it in an uncomfortable way where you're like cold sweating or whatever that term is. I was talking to Lavinia last night, and something that was funny that she said, not funny, but something informative. She was like, I love that when you do these shows, when you do Zack Miller Lives, you just roll with the punches. Almost everything I do is unscripted. I might have a couple things that I want to say, but I just go with it. I know that I can help a crap ton of people. I want to help these people. And if it means that I gotta look or seem a little scatterbrained, who cares? What's the topic of this thing? Like, what's the worst that could happen? That's the title. Seriously, like, what is the worst thing that could happen? I get a couple of laughs? Maybe I'm a comedian. Maybe I wanted those laughs. People stop listening? Well, maybe I didn't want them anyway. At the end of the day, we need to be more about ourselves. We need to be more selfish. We need to be making sure that we're not faking it. Because people are lost. People are afraid. People are afraid to be themselves, I think. And so I'm hoping that by that and that, I guess that more people will say, hey, you know what? I can step out. I can be a little different. Some people actually like this. Some people hate my hairstyle. I actually have a mullet too. I don't know if you guys can really see it. Looks like a mohawk, I guess. People hate that I wear a black t-shirt, jeans, say I'm unprofessional. But the people who I've genuinely helped, they know it. And they tell their friends. And they tell their friends. That's what matters. These bullies or negative Nancys or negative Nicks, if that's ever been said before, screw them. Who cares? Ignore them. If that's the way they want to be, let them be that way. I did this to prove a point. This is not a look that I really would want to rock every day because honestly, I don't necessarily love it. But if I did, absolutely I do it. And I do it in different ways, right? This is the extreme. But this is different to a lot of people. This is different. This is unprofessional to a lot of people. This is extreme, sure. And if I loved it, I'd keep it, right? But to me, it's like, let's be ourselves. Stop trying to fool other people. And they might not even notice, right? But be yourself. You'll be a lot happier. You'll be a lot happier with yourself. I can't wait to go to the gym and see all these people. They're going to be like, oh my God, look at this guy. And they're going to be like, it's going to be great. I'm just going to be like, hello. Lavinia says, I just finished my live today, and I took some nuggets of what you told me last night, and I'm so happy with the outcome. Wonderful. Give me an example. I saw that you went longer. Perfect. So she chit-chatted with the viewers and felt more connected than just being on there, trying to give them more info. And being in personal connection. Yeah, I mean, look, these things, I don't know if you guys know what they're called. They're called social networks. A social network is a two-way street, and sometimes many-way street, where there is engagements on both sides. Something that I hate is when a page, a person, whatever, gets a response and does this with it. Why? Because they're being a buffoon. Like, literally, that is why you get on these pages, is to get engagement. Like, that is, engagement is why social media is what it is. And if you don't like, comment, engage back, what do you think happens? That person's like, well, they didn't engage back with me. Like, literally, you'll see this. I think that, for the most part, 99%, I comment back on every single post, comment, whatever. Yes, occasionally, I am human. I miss some things. But 99% of the time, on my personal and on my brand pages, I respond. I engage back. Today's episode of the 1004 show just went up. Bob Berg. We talk a lot about that. He's a guy who has 100,000 Twitter followers. He sold over 700,000 books of The Go-Giver. Great dude. I think he said he's in his 60s. Super rad dude. Enjoyed his conversations. But what's interesting is he does exactly what I just preached. He goes, well, yeah, I engage. And he said it in such a great way. He goes, I don't just broadcast, which means it's a one-way street. I also engage back. Imagine that. The social network you actually do the social things for. Stanley Sparrow, my man. Told you I was doing something funky today. How'd I do? I don't know. Are these pork chops? I don't know what to call this. For those of you listening again, just on audio, I have taken my beard and developed a certain type of triangle-based unit to my mustache, which is weak. I like growing the beard. It was getting itchy. Had to let it go. But I wanted to do something first to make a point. The point being, if you can find ways to get out of your comfort zone. Actually, I think most people want to get out of their like when they're uncomfortable. They just got to find ways to do it. And hopefully this is a way to teach people how to do that themselves, because we're all amazing people. And I think society has taught us that it's not okay to look different, be different, like other things. And I think that's stupid. My whole life I've liked really weird things. I still like roller coasters. You know, not a lot of people like that. But I mean, think about it. Like, what are we doing to stand out? Now, this is an extreme thing, 100%. But I do it every day and you guys don't even notice. Or maybe you do, but it's not as extreme. You know, the black t-shirt. You know, I tried different colors too. I just ended up liking the black more. It's more slimming. Like I've talked to Stanley about this offline a lot. And a lot of the stuff that he does looks very similar over and over and over again. And what I mean by that is he posts the exact same things over and over again. Stanley, I'm not picking on you. And he knows this. But most of us are also doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. The problem with that is that when you're trying to stand out and you are posting the exact same thing or something that looks exactly the same over and over again, or it looks very similar to something else, it's not going to stand out. It's going to get lost. When was the last time you went to a networking event? Maybe this morning. Did that networking event have a group full of a bunch of people in suits? Do they all look the same? How are you going to stand out there? And it's not just physical, right? I'm using the physical way to describe this today. But it's not just physical. But a great way to do it and to understand it is through a physical type of way. It could be millions of different things. But if we continue to do the same thing as others, if we continue to post the exact same thing over and over again, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to get lost. I do think these are fun, though. If you want an action to happen, what are you doing to make that action happen? So I want a couple of clients, which I call friends, by the way. And so I was like, who could this be? So, you reach out to them. If you want to date someone, what do you have to do? You got to reach out to them. If you want a relationship with someone, what do you got to do? Keep up with them. So got some topics. Do my posts seem old? I post pictures of my food all the time, trying to draw people in. Too much the same. Kind of explains why I don't have the feedback I used to have. I mean, I think people miss the story part of stuff. I think why people tune into Zack Miller Live is, number one, it's the most engaging and amazing content in the world. There's a story behind it. I'm transparent. I am engaging. I said that already. I try to involve people. It's a little different every day. It's around the same time. So listen to this. You're getting the same shot every single day, right? But the content is what I say every day, right? So please understand that. So when you're watching TV, if you're watching SportsCenter, it's the same set every day, but the content changes. This, right now, for the first 27 episodes, has been the exact same backdrop. But the content has changed every single day. The problem that you guys might be having is that you are not changing your content every single day. Does that make sense? So if you just post basically the same thing over and over again, it might be repetitive to someone, especially if that content is done in a way so it's very difficult to understand that it's different every time. So I wouldn't say, Stanley specifically, that your content seems old. I would say that as I scroll through, a lot of the images look the same over and over again, or at least the images that I've seen. And so your backdrop will be one thing, and then you'll have different colors of bow ties. The problem with that, in this case, is that they do appear to be the same over and over again. Pam, what I would tell you, and I haven't seen your pictures recently. I mean, I liked one yesterday on Instagram. What I would say is, what are you doing to engage back with other people? And that doesn't mean just say, hey, engage with me. But are you getting your content in front of other people? Are you telling a story behind it? Are you only showing the food? Are you showing how you prepared the food? Maybe you messing up in the kitchen. Maybe you cutting your hand. Maybe a picture of a mess. There's a story behind it. And so your story, I believe, and I'm going to try and find this real quick. Your story might be the same thing over and over again, a finished product. And the problem with the finished product is that it's the same. It's repetitive. It's everyone's getting the same thing over and over again. Yes, it might be pretty. But like Rebecca, if all she posted was cleaning a dog over and over again, people might get bored with that. What is it? The Twisted Fork. Let me look. So my guess is, okay, so remember, my content is changing every day, even though the backdrop is the same. What the heck? How can I cannot search on Instagram? I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to find this. Stand by. I'm trying to search, but it won't let me. Damn technology. I don't even follow that many people. I'm going to do it on the internet. The other internet. But just make sure that you're always storytelling. And, you know, that's something that I think is what's missing. And so, and I'm just using those two examples because of the two that I can think of right now. So Twisted Fork, I am getting there. We'll give you a little bit of a plug. Let's do it. So here's the page. Okay, so actually, there is a little bit of difference in here, but look, okay, so I think you guys can see a mouse, right? So I would start showing more personality like this. The dog is great, but if you start looking, same thing over again. Finished product, finished product, finished product. That's what I'm doing. But majority, I bet if you would put more of this in here, let's see, 37. Ooh, wow, case in point. Okay, maybe not this one. Okay, my point is not made. Well, kind of. All right, so before, this 137, let's see why. Those hashtags popular. Do we use the same ones again? You did not. So you didn't necessarily use the same hashtags too. So that could be one of the reasons why it's less, right? But finished product, 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 finished product. No idea what this is. Doesn't matter. That's cool. That one probably would have been better. Why? I wonder why they didn't do better. As can't speak. You know, but there's not a lot of personality in here telling that story. And I think if you would put more personality into it, like instead of here doing a video of opening that bottle of wine, this is kind of funny. See, some of these should be doing a little bit better. But like opening the bottle of wine, teaching people how to open a bottle of wine. Think about things that people could do, thinking of ways to open their wine earlier, have it whatever it is for 4 hours, stuff like that. And so I'll be thinking about stuff like that. I wouldn't say that's all the same, Pam, but I do think that your finished products are basically all the same. And I think there's a lot of things that you could showcase. Not necessarily lying about it either, but like showing a mess. You know, showing it being built. I think that's the story in there. Stanley, so I think your approach is some of the stuff that I've been telling you, like show me putting it together. Don't just show me the end product. Show me the story behind it. Show me you in the stores thinking about buying the fabric, trying different knots, failing. People want to see that. And the reason why you consume me every day is not only because I'm helping you, but also there's a story behind it each and every day that you can grasp. So what are your targets, your customers, your friends looking for that you can tell a story on and not sell to every day, right? You don't want to get that phone call from your cable company because they're annoying. If you become that annoying cable salesperson, that's not good. Instead, you want to be the person, the brand that people love and enjoy and can follow and hear the story from. Yeah, so your videos don't have to be with you in front of the camera. Think about ways that you can do it without that. I hope this is important. Well, important. I hope that this has been valuable for you guys. I really appreciate doing these each and every weekday. It's been fun. Like always, would love to know what topics you guys have. Yes, I have the most ridiculous sideburns right now. Maybe pork chops, maybe mutton chops. I don't know what to call them. I'm just going to call it the Zack Miller Live thing. But what are some ways that you could be telling more stories about what you're doing? Basically, the behind the scenes. What are you doing every day that's no one's seeing anyway? Document the process. Okay? That's it. Appreciate you guys being here. I am going to head out, keep these, and get things rolling. If you want to see some of the other things that I'm doing, you could see that like at the gym. I was at the gym the other day and I was doing 2 for 1. That was something multitasking. Like look at your favorite brands and see what they're doing. Dissect that and say, this is how they're doing it. How could I do that myself? Right? Look at what I'm doing. Copy that if you love it. Whatever. I'm not saying go live. I'm not saying do the uncomfortable. I'm saying tell more stories and show people what you see every day because they don't get to see it. Stanley, you just said it. I love music, but when I can see the creation of music, I appreciate it way more. Yeah, you love the behind the scenes. So your customers, your friends probably want to see that too. Give it to them. That's it. Appreciate you guys being here. Zack Miller Live, the ridiculous Sideburns edition. It's episode 27. If you guys like what you're watching, would love for you guys to subscribe so you can get it each and every weekday. Until tomorrow, I have no idea what I'm talking about tomorrow. I had no idea what I was talking about until, 10 minutes before I did this. Would love some topics of choice. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up in the DMs. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Sideburns out. Woo!